How reliable are the 2024 and newer Toyota Tacomas? It's a fair question, especially since Toyota moved away from the tried and true V6 and replaced it with a turbocharged 4-cylinder. Naturally, that's raised some eyebrows. People wonder if pushing more power out of a smaller engine could lead to issues. With the truck having only been out for a couple of years, there isn't decades and millions of miles of reliability info to report, but this engine has actually been around longer than most people realize. You might be surprised at the amount of problems these trucks are having, or not having. Some owners have reported issues with the new 8-speed automatic transmission, things like rough or hesitant shifting, the truck going into limp mode, or in a few cases, full transmission failure. It definitely raised some concerns early on with the new transmission, which replaced the old 6-speed. The good news is that Toyota has acknowledged these issues and released a TSB to address them, which usually means they've identified the cause and are actively fixing it. From what people are seeing now, it seems like most of the problems were limited to early production models and later builds have been much more reliable. It's also worth noting that the transmission isn't just some thrown together part. It's built by Aisin, a company that's partly owned by Toyota and has a long track record of making excellent transmissions, for not just Toyota, but Volvo, BMW, and other brands. They made the rock-solid 6-speed automatic that was in the previous Tacoma and the transmission that was used in the V8 Tundra. And failures on those were extremely rare, even with heavy towing, and many owners never changing the transmission fluid. Aisin knows what they're doing when it comes to transmissions, and failures in Toyotas are very uncommon. Personally, I'd chalk this up to be growing pains with a brand new powertrain. Back when Toyota switched to the 6-speed automatic in the Tacoma, there were some hiccups with that, which were quickly resolved. It's just something that comes with buying a fresh redesign. Electrical quirks and bugs with safety features are fairly common in the new Tacoma, and a lot of it just comes down to how much tech is packed into modern vehicles. One recurring issue is with the rear seat alert system. Sometimes it goes off and warns the driver that someone in the back isn't buckled, even when there's nobody and nothing in the rear seat. It beeps as if someone's back there, which can be pretty annoying. This might happen because the rear seats are a bit narrow, so if a passenger is sitting on the far left or right, their weight might partially register on the middle seat sensor and confuse the system. Another common complaint involves the truck mistakenly thinking there's a trailer attached. Drivers sometimes get a warning on the gauge cluster that says, "Trailer detected, trailer driving assist active," even when there's no trailer connected. It's not clear what triggers it, but it tends to come and go without warning. There have also been a lot of reports of the infotainment screen freezing or becoming unresponsive, and the backup camera occasionally fails to activate when shifting into reverse. In most cases, a system reset or restarting the vehicle clears it up. CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity can also be hit or miss. Sometimes they don't connect right away, and other times they disconnect mid-drive, especially when using Bluetooth. While this isn't unique to Toyota, it's a widespread issue across nearly all brands. It's still annoying when the whole system depends on wireless tech that isn't always reliable. At the end of the day, with so many sensors, software systems, and electronic components working together, it's not surprising to see more hiccups than you get in older vehicles that didn't have these features. It's the trade-off for all that added convenience and safety tech. The 2.4-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder in the new Tacoma has been performing pretty well so far. While it's a new addition to the Tacoma lineup, this engine isn't untested. Toyota started using a version of it back in 2021 in a few Lexus models, and it's since made its way into several other vehicles across the brand. By the time it made its way into the Tacoma, this engine, though slightly modified, has already been used in models like the Lexus NX, RX, and the Highlander, where it had been proven to be mostly trouble-free. There haven't been any widespread reliability issues. Early owner feedback and third-party reliability data have been mostly positive, and Toyota's track record with long-lasting powertrains adds some peace of mind. Of course, we're still in the early years, so we don't have a complete picture of long-term durability yet, but the initial signs are promising. Toyota is clearly committed to this engine, since they've rolled it out across a wide range of vehicles. That kind of investment usually says they've engineered it with longevity in mind. When an automaker reuses the same engine across multiple models, especially popular ones, they know the stakes are high. If it ends up being a weak point, it could affect the reputation of their best-selling vehicles, which could be detrimental to their brand. So it makes sense that Toyota would aim to get it right from the start, building something that can handle everything from luxury crossovers to rugged pickups. When it comes to the iForce Max, Toyota has been making hybrids for decades, and they're typically just as reliable as a regular gas vehicle, so even with the added complexity, they still last a very long time. Just take a look at the Prius. Those things run forever, and the Highlander hybrid has been known to last 1 million miles. The main thing to consider with the hybrid is that the batteries don't last forever. they need to be replaced around the 10-year, 150,000-mile mark most of the time, and replacement costs can be well into the thousands. According to Consumer Reports, the overall reliability rating for the 2024 Tacoma is currently below average, mainly due to issues with the transmission and the steering and suspension systems. On the plus side, other major areas, like the engine, earned above average reliability scores. This isn't the first time a redesigned Tacoma has faced problems. When Toyota rolled out the last major update back in 2016, there were some initial problems then, too. But by the end of the following model year, most of those bugs were ironed out, and it's since been extremely reliable. Looking ahead, Consumer Reports is predicting that reliability for the Tacoma will be below average, with a predicted reliability score of 29 out of 100. That places it behind trucks like the Ford Ranger, Honda Ridgeline, and Jeep Gladiator. Ironically, the only truck it edges out is the Nissan Frontier, which, despite its lower score, has actually proven to be one of the more reliable midsize pickups in the real world. Just because an engine is turbocharged doesn't mean it's destined to fail early. Sure, the added heat, stress, and power can impact longevity, but these engines are engineered from the ground up with forced induction in mind. That means better cooling systems and often stronger internal components. Some of the most durable, heavy-duty engines in the world are turbocharged. Granted, they're diesels, but the principle still applies. Take the Ford F-150 for example. It's been using turbo engines for over a decade. While it has had its share of issues, most have nothing to do with the turbos, and aside from those common, unrelated issues, those engines have held up surprisingly well. At the end of the day, it really comes down to how well the engine is designed and built. The number one thing that'll keep your Tacoma running strong, especially with the new turbocharged 2.4-liter engine, is staying on top of regular maintenance. That's what really determines how long these trucks last. Toyota officially recommends oil changes every 10,000 miles, but there's a bit of a fine print that's easy to miss. If you look closer, they actually advise changing the oil every 5,000 miles under what's considered special operating conditions. Those conditions include things like stop-and-go traffic, short trips that don't let the engine fully warm up, long idling periods, towing, hauling heavy loads, driving in extreme heat or cold, or carrying a lot of passengers. And let's be honest, most Tacoma owners probably fall into one or two of those categories without even realizing it. Personally, I would never push it past 5,000 miles between oil changes, no matter how easy the driving seems. Turbo engines are tough on oil, and once the oil starts breaking down, it can seriously impact the turbo system and internal components. Clean, high-quality oil is the single most important thing in keeping your engine healthy. But oil isn't the only fluid that matters. Transmission fluid, transfer case fluid, and differential fluid also need to be changed regularly if you want to avoid big repair bills down the road. A lot of people assume that those fluids last the life of the truck, but that's really not the case, especially if you're towing or doing any off-road driving. The best thing you can do for the long-term health of your truck, especially the newer turbo models, is to stay disciplined with oil and fluid changes. It's simple maintenance, but it makes all the difference when it comes to keeping your truck reliable for many years. I would seriously consider getting an extended warranty on any modern vehicle. As long as the truck is still within Toyota's basic 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty, you're eligible to extend it. Pricing can vary quite a bit depending on the dealership, so it's worth shopping around. But as long as it's a genuine Toyota warranty, it'll be honored at any Toyota dealer. You can customize the coverage based on how many miles you drive and how long you plan to keep the truck. With all the advanced electronics and added tech features in today's vehicles, there's a good chance the warranty will pay for itself with just one repair. Just take a look at the cost to replace basic things like LED headlights, power folding running boards, power seats, gauge clusters, infotainment screens, and other seemingly simple features. Plus, it gives you some extra peace of mind. It's going to be tough for a turbo 4-cylinder to match the old V6 when it comes to long-term durability, but I don't expect many issues. So far, the engine has been proven to be solid and well-rounded, and the fact that Toyota is using the same basic setup across several models, like the 4Runner, Highlander, and Lexus lineup, and they've all been performing well, is a good sign for the future. While it's still early, Toyota's track record for quality, dependability, and reliability suggests that they wouldn't risk their reputation by putting out a subpar powertrain in their best-selling vehicles. If anything, their confidence in rolling this engine out across the board says a lot about how they expect it to hold up over time.